6 field hospitals were donated to Jamaica or built by the government. This was just a few years ago, can you comment on the status of these hospitals, if they, including the 3 from U.S. Southern Command, which are completely mobile, are up, disassembled, destroyed, or returned?
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Anissa Bell Rose. And in this one, field hospitals created in certain hard-hit parishes. And the opposition spokesperson on health has questions. As well as, let us break down the difference between the CRIF and the CAT bond. Please stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. So, ABR family and viewers, we heard time and time again from this current administration that one must not politicize this whole relief process post-Hurricane Melissa. But then, as we stated earlier in previous videos, the actions of this government says otherwise. And it's alleged that field hospitals were created in St. Elizabeth, St. James, and Trelawney, but not in the other 2 hardest hit parishes, namely Westmoreland and Hanover. And I want you to take a look at the Minister of Health, basically showcasing this field hospital in Black River, St. Elizabeth. But then we have the opposition spokesperson on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, asking questions in Parliament a few days ago. But then I was searching for the response from Anju Oates, but I am yet to see that. So take a listen to this.
So we are very pleased to have Samaritan's Purse here. We have a 30-bed facility, operating theater, we have a staff, and it's really a full setup. I mean, accommodation, water treatment, operating theater. It's just amazing. Their own pharmacy. So this is a collaborative effort, but what they have done here is fill a void for the people of St. Elizabeth. So
over the next number of weeks, we're going to transition this hospital, and we're going to leave this in 6 to 8 weeks, and you guys are going to have it all. So step in for the next 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, take the pressure off. You guys can rebuild the hospital, primary care areas, your own homes, right, and then come in and take over this. That's the plan.
Prime Minister, thank you for that presentation. I have just 3 questions. 1, can you confirm that 6 field hospitals were donated to Jamaica during COVID recently? Can you confirm the status? 6 field hospitals were donated to Jamaica or built by the government. This was just a few years ago, can you comment on the status of these hospitals, if they, including the 3 from U.S. Southern Command, which are completely mobile, are up, disassembled, destroyed, or returned? And if we have field hospitals in Jamaica now, why aren't we deploying them immediately to the disaster areas rather than waiting for a shipment from Spain? Thanks.
Thanks, Member.
Speaker.
But let us wait and see when those field hospitals will be erected in Hanover and in Westmoreland that were also hardest hit. Meanwhile, it has been confirmed by the World Bank that they have paid out some 150 million US in catastrophe bond to Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa. Now one would ask, what is this catastrophe bond? So it was a insurance coverage with the World Bank. Analysis carried out by third-party calculation agent Air Worldwide Corporation concluded that Hurricane Melissa reached pre-agreed parametric triggers qualifying for a full redemption of the World Bank catastrophe bond, which offers Jamaica financial protection against specific natural disasters. The analysis was made on the storm's central pressure and path as reported by the National Hurricane Center. As one of the most exposed countries to natural disasters, Jamaica has a well-developed disaster risk financing strategy. Jamaica initially received insurance coverage against named storm events from the World Bank through a World Bank-issued catastrophe bond in 2021, and 3 years later renewed its coverage with the 2024 catastrophe bond. So basically, this catastrophe bond was the second time around that Jamaica has been engaged in it. So it initially, did one in 2021, and we know that we had Berry last year. And for some reason, they said that the cat bond wasn't triggered in Hurricane Beryl. Catastrophe bonds transfer financial risk from natural disasters to global capital markets and are one of many financial instruments available to support countries in the aftermath of natural disasters such as hurricanes and earthquakes. Catastrophe bonds are recognized by credit rating agencies as beneficial to countries and form part of their disaster risk management toolkit.
Jamaica became the first small country in the world, right, to issue independently something that is known as a catastrophe bond. We're a small country that is susceptible, vulnerable to natural disaster shocks, i.e., hurricane, tropical cyclone, etc. That if it occurs can put the government out because it, lots of expenses.
Yeah.
Now, because we work so hard on rehabilitating our economy, and I want to give you an example of how my real practical experience that really, let me give it. Back in 2016, when Jamaica was about to, allow me this detour, when Jamaica was about to prematurely terminate the agreement with the IMF, it was called an extended fund facility, and enter into a new agreement called a precautionary standby arrangement. And we're moving from, the extended fund facility was 980 million, and the new one was $1.6 billion. It was a big deal. Nobody was expecting it, and that's what made it even a bigger deal, right? The big bosses from the IMF coming down for the announcement, and a little storm began to develop in the Eastern Caribbean. I forget the name of it. Was it Matthew? I'm not sure. I can't remember. This is 2016. And this is Jamaica here. And everybody's tracking the storm, the hurricane, and it's doing this. And it is the closest direct hit that Jamaica has had in 30 years. Closest to a direct hit. And we were all convinced that this hurricane was going to hit Jamaica directly. Right? As a result, people from the fund, they packed up, headquarters called them back, left Jamaica. The big announcement was not going to happen. And in that moment, I was not Minister of Finance then. I was Ambassador of Economic Affairs, and I was responsible for the relationship with the multilaterals. And I negotiated this program, this $1.6 billion program, right? And then it became abundantly clear to me, my God, if this thing had hit, we started to calculate that what we were negotiating couldn't help us. Yeah? And it became abundantly, and it just calculating what the reversal would have been. All the progress made by the previous administration would have gone out the window. And it became very clear to me. And I said, look, if I get the chance, I will never leave Jamaica exposed to the effect of natural disaster again in terms of fiscal exposure. Because I came face to face with the possibility of what that would mean. Meaning that in that over that period, I'm having discussions with IMF about how we would have to upsize what we were about to announce.
Yeah, it's almost like you have to, I think, measures, countermeasures, counter
exactly.
measures.
Yeah. In the end, thank God, praise God, the hurricane did this, and it went up and hit Haiti. Unfortunately, 800 people died in Haiti.
Wow.
And that was a hurricane that went all the way to New Jersey and reduced New Jersey to being like a developing country. I think we can all remember that.
Yeah.
So what we decided to put in place a multi-layered strategy of financial instruments that delivers resources in the event of a natural disaster.
And so just to add, we know that they had renewed this catastrophe bond in 2024 and should have served another 3 years up to 2027. Now that the cat bond has been triggered and Jamaica has received a full payout of $150 million US, what does that leave Jamaica for the next 2 years? So we're looking at 2026 hurricane season and we're looking at 2027 hurricane season. And I would love for one of these, members from the government side to come across this video and to explain to the Jamaican people, what does that mean? Does it mean that Jamaica is no longer covered under this cat bond and therefore would not be covered for the next 2 years now that the cat bond have finally been triggered? Now, as for CRIF, which is the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility that was undertaken by a Omar Davis, includes damages from hurricane winds and also excess rainfall. So that's what the CRIF covers. So CRIF came about in, I believe, 2007, 2008, thereabout, when a then finance minister Enuh Omar Davis was looking at all the damages that was done by a Hurricane Ivan in 2004. Jamaica got damaged, but Grenada got damaged more, right? So in his 2007-2008 sectoral debate, as the then Minister of Finance, Dr. Davies quoted as saying, following the devastation suffered by Grenada, Haiti, and Jamaica in 2004, it was my turn to speak on behalf of Caribbean finance ministers at the annual World Bank IMF annual meetings. I was struck by the inadequacy of the response of the multilaterals and bilaterals not only to Jamaica's situation, but more so to that of Grenada and Haiti. I challenge the multilaterals to work with us in developing a more useful and realistic response. I am pleased that the World Bank's president accepted the challenge and worked with us through the Jamaica Social Investment Fund to conduct the technical assessments, which has led to a first in the world, the creation of a regional catastrophe risk insurance facility called CRIF. Now, you would have heard me say earlier that under the CRIF insurance, Jamaica received a payout last year for the excessive rainfall as it relates to Beryl. But during that Beryl last year, no payout from the cat bond that they had, invested taxpayers' money in. Under this whole direct hit situation from Melissa, Jamaica is set to receive $3.4 billion from its excessive rainfall policy with CRIF. This is on top of the $11 billion from Jamaica's tropical cyclone policy with CRIF. They will also receive some $24 billion from the cat bond and $6 billion in Jamaica's contingency and disaster funds. Jamaica has access to some $44 billion from these layers of Jamaica's disaster risk framework, and $75 billion or more is available from Jamaica's credit contingent layers, totaling 120 billion. They have also raised some 170 million through government relief portal. And so we're asking, which is the better insurance coverage for Jamaica? Because with the CRIF, it is a continuous coverage year after year after year. We're still asking, now that this cat bond has been triggered, where do Jamaica stand as it relates to the catastrophe bond for 2026 and 2027? And why is it taking the government so long to push a greater relief from the government end? Most of the relief that have been on the ground now is from private partnership and as well as from the diaspora. When does the Jamaican government plans to spend all of this money that they have so far? ABR family and viewers, what says you in the comment section? Let me hear your honest opinion down there, please and thanks. Remember to like and to share out the video. If you're new to the channel, please to subscribe. On the road to 50K, please help me to get there. For those who want to support the Adopt a Family initiative, can feel free to do so. You can get in contact with Dayton Campbell on WhatsApp at 1-876-565-4526. Please stay tuned for more videos, stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself.